Hello everyone, welcome to day 6 of my 77-day video challenge. Today I want to talk to you all about a beautiful concept, mindfulness. Before knowing what mindfulness is, let us see what mindfulness is not. Mindfulness is not being on autopilot. Mindfulness is not having a monkey mind. Now, what do I mean by those? Let me explain. For example, you are working from home and you hear one of your neighbor mowing their lawn. Then your brain automatically gets away and then it starts reminding you that, oh, you need to mow your lawn as well. When are you going to get to it? And you know what? It's going to rain in 1 or 2 days. Maybe it might get too late by then, and so on and so forth. So before you know, your mind starts to blame, complain, and makes you takes you to all the places. So that is being on autopilot. That is our monkey mind acting. So instead, if we are mindful about our thoughts, then we will recognize that noise and then we'll just come back to what we are working at that moment. So here in this scenario, three things happened. First is that incident, our neighbor mowing their lawn. That incident triggered either a reaction or response in our behavior. If we are not mindful, then we reacted, letting our mind wander. But if we are mindful, then we took a pause and then we just got back to what we were trying to do there. And in between this cue, the incident and the behavior, there is a very small thing that is mindful gap. Let me tell you, this kind of instances happen in our day-to-day life all the time. For example, someone crosses us in the line, or someone passes a bitter comment, or something happens. So when that incident happened, if we are not mindful, then we might react in a negative manner. But if we are mindful, then maybe we'll behave in a positive manner. So it is always, most of the time, it is never the incident or the person who caused, which will determine how we behave. It is almost all the time. It depends on how our mindset is at that moment, determines how we behave in that manner. So by that way, the mindfulness is all about being in the present moment, accepting the moment as it is instead of expecting how we want it to be. So now, what are the practices we can develop in order to develop this kind of a mindset? So I want to share with you all three practices what I typically practice in my day-to-day life. So the first one is 3 R's. R. I know it resembles to one of the famous movies, right? It's easy to remember now. So R. Rest, recognize, and return. Now, what is those three things are? Rest your awareness on one of the objects, any object in front of you. Rest your awareness on that particular object, or simply maybe our breath, just resting our awareness on our breath, and then recognize when our mind starts to wander, like the thoughts are coming up in our mind. It definitely happens. See, mind is curious, so it definitely tries to think something and it will just go on and on and on. So when you recognize that, return your mind again to whatever you are doing or wherever you are resting your awareness to, with compassion and kindness. So whenever you are sitting for this practice, 100 times the mind might wander away with the different thoughts, and 100 times you try to return the back, that awareness, to wherever you are or whatever you are trying to do. So that is one way of developing the mindset of like being in the present moment. That is my first thing. And second thing is checking in instead of checking out. We are sometimes very much used to checking out what's happening, checking out on our devices, checking out what's happening in the TV, or checking out in the surroundings and all those things. But instead of that, checking inside, asking ourselves at times in our day to day, in our daily life, like at times asking that question to ourselves, hey, what am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? Am I feeling thirsty? Am I hungry, or am I tired? How am I feeling inside? Because those body sensations, whatever we are feeling, if we don't recognize them, they in turn become emotions, like a wrong emotions, like anger, sadness, maybe anxious or upset, disappointed. It could be any number of things. And those wrong emotions or negative emotions in turn become negative actions. Like maybe we'll snap at someone, or we'll pass a rude comment to someone, or maybe we'll start repenting or feeling guilty that why I said what I said, some things like that, right? So if we see backwards, that body sensations are the primary, the first thing what happens, or which is giving us a clue on how we want to modify them. So please let us pay attention to those body sensations, so that they won't become a negative emotion, and in turn they don't become a negative action which we might feel sorry about it later. That is my second thing. And last but not least, my third one is bringing mindfulness into our day-to-day life itself. Because sometimes we might not get time to set aside to do these kind of practices like RRR, or maybe checking out. We might forget to ask those things. But so those scenarios, instead of setting aside time in our day-to-day life, how about bringing mindfulness into our daily activities itself? Like for example, as soon as we get up, we brush our teeth, then taking a shower, or sipping that hot cup of tea, or doing dishes, or maybe going on a walk, any simple task. In all those tasks, sometimes what happens is mechanically we'll be doing those tasks, but our mind is somewhere out, somewhere different, and our mind is thinking so many things at that time. So instead of letting our mind wander away that way, whenever we are doing those day-to-day activities, bringing attention, bringing that awareness into the activity what we are trying to do at that moment. So I'm brushing my teeth, paying attention to how we are feeling at that time, or taking shower, or maybe the doing dishes, feeling that everything whatever we are doing at that moment is one way of developing mindfulness also. So these are my few things what I really love to practice in my day-to-day life, and I wanted to share with you all. Maybe something might have resonated with you, and I'm curious to know, maybe some of you might be practicing some other practices as well in order to develop mindfulness into your life. I would be really happy to know. Please share your thoughts in one of the comments of this videos. I would love to hear about them. We all need to remember mindfulness by itself is not easy or difficult, but remembering to be mindful is the most difficult part. But I hope one of these practices you will find it useful, and maybe start using them in your life to develop that mindfulness. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in my next. Thank you.